Hey everybody, and welcome back to Colin's Crazy Creatures. So, we already did a video as So You Want a Retic with Keystone Constrictors. So now we are doing So You Want a Boa with Serpentology. This is Lee, the proprietor of Serpentology. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming out, Colin. Appreciate you having me.
I am excited to see some boas. And in this video, we're only going to be talking about two species of boa constrictor, BCCs and BCIs, due to there being countless other species of boas, like rosy boas, rubber boas, emerald tree boas, Amazon tree boas, and sand boas.
So you mentioned BCIs and BCCs. There is a difference to them. The BCCs are boa constrictor constrictor, and that's your true red-tailed boa. So they have those bright red tails, and there's not many morphs with them in the reptile industry. They're really cool just as they are. And then the BCIs, the boa constrictor imperator, is where all the morphs are. That's where you're going to see in the pet store, and that's where you're going to see at a reptile expo. And she is a BCI, and I'm going to hand her over to you.
Okay. It's good to get that thing cleared up. So.
Well, now that you have one, I feel like I need one, so I got myself a little baby right here.
Okay, so what are their general attitudes?
Boa constrictors are awesome. They're calm. They're pretty labile. They like to just hang out with you on the couch. They'll chill with you while you read. And as a baby, they can be a little hissy, but after a baby, they're super nice and very tame.
So, how big would they get?
So they obviously get pretty large. This is about a year old, so they're smaller when they're born, and she's maybe a 5-year-old adult female. So they'll get between 6 and 8 foot, but it's very difficult and takes a lot of time and effort to get them quite large.
So on the topic of their size, what would you feed them?
So this little guy right here, he's going to eat maybe an adult mice or a small mouse, and then she's going to eat a large rat. The boa constrictors really don't like huge meals. She might be able to take down a small rabbit. I've tried with her before, and she didn't like trying to get over the shoulder blades of that, whereas a reticulate python would have no problem. So they'll eat like a large rat.
I have some more names of boas.
Tell me more.
There is Dumeral's boas, Dominican boas, Emerald's boas, Peruvian long-tailed boas, and Ecuadorian boas.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. So, what size enclosure would they need?
Yeah, so I'll show you baby boas. Pretty much all baby snakes like smaller enclosures. So you'll start a real small baby in something like this. After about maybe 2-3 months, they'll move up to a larger size. I use these for about up to like 6 months to a year. They'll breed out in these, and then after this, they'll move to a 4-foot enclosure, and they'll live their life maybe 2 to 4 years in there. And then the big adult females will be in a big 6-foot enclosure, so maybe 2 more feet after that. So you need, for an adult female, you need something large where they can move around, climb, and get good musculature.
Okay, so how much would a buyer expect to pay for one?
So the normal types, or the wild type they're called, you might pay $100 to $200 in a pet store. And then for a morph, we'll say something like this little sharp albino motley, maybe $600. And then we'll pull out some more high-end stuff later, which is maybe $2,000 to $3,000. So they can get pretty expensive, or you can buy a budget option like this little guy right here.
Okay. So what kind of morphs are there?
So this one that I've been holding for the last little bit here is a motley labyrinth het albino. So this will have babies that are albino, and they'll have kind of a solid stripe all the way down it, which will be pretty cool.
So can you show me some of those expensive morphs you were talking about?
I absolutely can. I'm going to show you 3. All of them are different types of albinos, and they all have one gene in common. So first one is going to be a VPI Aztec. So the Aztec is the pattern mutation, that kind of crazy pattern, and the VPI is the type of albino. The VPI albino has a little bit of black pigment in it, so it's not like a true albino. This is going to be a true albino, so it's lacking melanin, so it has no black pigment in it. This is a sharp albino Aztec. So again, they have one gene in common, the Aztec, which is the pattern, and then they have a different type of albino. That's sharp albino, VPI albino. The last one I'm going to show you is probably the most expensive. This is probably about a $3,000 snake. This is an IMG Aztec. So again, it has the Aztec, which is the pattern mutation, and then the IMG is the color. It's increasing melanin gene. So as this gets older and older, it'll get darker and darker.
That is really cool.
Yeah. The dark snakes are really cool, and the light snakes are cool. It's awesome to have that kind of contrast between the same type of boa.
Are there any morphs that may cause neurological problems like the spider gene in ball pythons?
Yes, so the spider gene is interesting in ball pythons. They have that little bit of wobble that you're talking about, which is kind of the side-to-side movement of the head. This is called the scoria gene in the boas. It's a newer gene, and he's a little crazy right now, but they will have a slight neurological issue, a wobble of the head, and as they breed this out to stronger and older genes, that'll kind of go away with time. But when they're kind of anxious or they're moving around a lot, you can see a little bit of an odd head movement there.
Okay, that is good to know.
Yeah, but the reason that they breed kind of stuff like this is because, I mean, you want to produce an awesome boa like that, you kind of just want to make sure they're healthy, and hopefully this will go away with time.
So I actually have a few more species of boa.
More?
Yeah. So there's the Argentine boa, the Orton's boa, the Pearl Island boa, the St. Lucia boa, and the New Guinea ground boa.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there really is. So are there any special rules for handling and feeding boas?
Sure. So you always want to take certain safety precautions with any type of large snake. You want to make sure that they're not in feeding mode. So like I said earlier, when there's like scents in the air, like you're defrosting rats or something, they're gonna all be hungry and kind of looking to eat. And then I will use a hook, like I have right here. When I open the enclosure, if they're coming kind of straight at you, you just want to give their head a little tap, and then that tells them that they're not eating. And then also safety, you never want to have them wrap around your neck like she was just doing. So whenever they're coming across, you just want to keep an arm in front of you. They're just holding on to you like a tree branch, but just for safety precautions, you don't want anything wrapped around your neck.
Okay, so you breed both reticulated pythons and boas, so is there any difference in keeping them?
Certainly. So I would say that a boa constrictor is like having a cat, kind of less time consuming. A reticulated python is like having a dog. So they like to move around a lot. They pee and poop a lot, so it's a lot more cage cleaning. And they like to be outside their cage a lot. So I make sure that I give them outdoor time. I run around in the yard with them. And then boa constrictors, they're much easier to keep. They pee and poop a lot less, and they require less exercise than a reticulated python.
Okay, so do you vet any potential buyers for either of them?
Certainly with the reticulated pythons, you want to be an experienced snake keeper. You need a large enclosure for them, so you want to be able to have a 6-foot enclosure in your home at least as an adult. The boa constrictors, more lenient on that. They're pretty family friendly. There's a lot of kids that buy boa constrictors, and they're relatively docile and safe for the average person.
So so you want a boa with Serpentology. Thanks for having me, Lee, and it was cool seeing all these cool boas.
Yeah, I had a blast having you.
Okay, so thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and sit next to him on Colin's Crazy Creatures. So I actually have more species of boas.
More species? You're killing me, Colin.
Well, there's the Biberon's bevel-nosed boa, there is the Pacific tree boa, the Pacific ground boa, the West Indian boa, the viper boa, the Solomon Island ground boa, the Cuban boa, the Ford's boa, the Brazilian rainbow boa, the Colombian rainbow boa, the Bolivian anaconda, the green anaconda, the yellow anaconda, the Granada bank tree boa, the Cropans tree boa, the Ecuadorian annulated tree boa, Cook's tree boa, the Puerto Rican boa, the Mona Island boa, the Hog Island boa, the Isabel Island boa, the Crooked Acklands boa, the Tortuga Island boa, the Bahamian boa, and the Jamaican boa. And that's about it.
That's it? You don't have any more for me?
Not that I can recall.
Very cool. Good job memorizing that list.
Yeah, took me hours.